Hey YouTube, welcome to the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. Full disclaimer, warning, etc. at the beginning of this video. I'm going to describe an accident I had on the homestead. Vague detail, not major detail, so I'm going to try not to make anybody squeamish, but there will be some references to some parts and pieces and stuff like that in the video. And B, I'm not a medical professional. Do not take anything construed in this video as medical advice, so on and so forth. I'm just wanting to let you know of a weakness in my medical preparations. So the point of this video is to get you to start thinking about your medical preparations, double check all your stuff. And so I'm not ashamed to admit that I had a weak spot. But anyhow, let me kind of briefly describe what happened. So I got my big rigid battery drill here. It's an old one, but it's trusty. I was using this 5-inch hole saw to bore a hole. I was making some rabbit boxes and stuff, and I had the clutch on the drill set down, on the slip part. I didn't have it on the full drill speed, so I was expecting the clutch to slip if the hole saw contacted something hard. So the clutch didn't slip. I had it set on 18 out of 24 settings, and the clutch was locked and didn't let go. So this hole saw hit a knot and then jumped. My right arm was about a foot away from where I was drilling, but somehow this hole saw, had the pilot bit and everything in it. It's something I've done 10,000 times, but it only takes one time to, mess you up. So the hole saw jumped about a foot or 18 inches to my right arm and hit me on the wrist. And that's why I've been wearing long sleeves in all the videos the last couple of weeks. No, it's not because I'm cold, it's because I have an injury here. I'm not going to show you yet. It's healed 95% of the way. Could have used stitches, probably needed 15 or 20 stitches. Let's just suffice it to say that this hole saw was so hot when it contacted me that it cauterized the wound. So bleeding wasn't too big of an issue, but I did find some weak spots in my medical preparation, so I'm going to go over what weaknesses I had and what I've done to remedy them. When I checked, ran into the house, I had my arm covered, and didn't know how bad it was at the time. I thought it was going to be a real bad leak. It wasn't leaking too bad. It needed stitches. It really did. It could have used 15 or 20 stitches, but an hour away from the nearest hospital and a good 45 minutes from the nearest urgent care place. And I figured I was competent enough to take care of it on my own, keep an eye on it. But I didn't want to go catch some kind of other filth at the urgent care place or the hospital, so I decided to take care of it at home, which it's probably not recommended, but that's what I did, and it is what it is. But anyhow, I went to grab tape and stuff, combat dressings, etc., because I thought it was going to be leaking real bad. Like I said, it didn't. But started checking some of my tape and stuff, and just so you know, this plain old, regular first aid tape, if it's more than a couple of years old, it's not really sticky anymore. I mean, this stuff's garbage. It really is. So I don't recommend having that, which I've got plenty of stock of this, which I wish I didn't. I mean, it has its purposes, but for a major injury, now that's junk. So let me scroll over here to what I did have. I had some 3M Transpore surgical tape and Durapore surgical tape. So, this is older tape. It's in my, let's just say, one of my go bags. So I use this among other medical supplies. And this was all I had of this kind of tape, which is bad on me. So I should have done better. So I run through this supply pretty quick, but I did remedy the situation, so let me show you what I did to remedy it. Alright, before I get started going over what I got to fix my weaknesses, Mrs. Off-Grid, who is filming today, would like to interject and tell you a couple of things.
Yes, when he got hurt, I panicked. I know I did. I tried to get his stubborn butt to go to the doctor. He would not go. And when we rushed to the house to clean his wounds and to dress him, we did not have half the things we needed. Like I said, I tried to get him to go to the doctor. He would not go. There was nothing I could do to get him to go. So when we went and got our first aid kit out, we realized everything that we were missing. And I got on Amazon that day and I ordered everything we needed so that our supplies were up to date and our tape was sticky and all of our supplies are now in one location, so I don't have to panic and run all over the place trying to find them. But he really should have went to the doctor.
So Mrs. Off-Grid continues to scold me. I've been scolded for 2 weeks now. But anyhow, that's what she's good at. She's good at keeping me in line, keeping me straight. But anyhow, here's the tape. Mrs. Off-Grid price checked the micro pour and transport tape from several different vendors online, and Amazon actually had the Prime Day sale going on this tape. So this stuff was half price for dozen rolls in each box, and that's the same kind of tape that I showed you before. So, you know, just we stocked up on that. It's good and fresh. You know, no weakness in the tape. So it's surgical tape. They use it, you know, in the medical field. Use it for IVs and stuff like that. And it doesn't give you a skin rash. And you know, a lot of the tapes give you a skin rash. This stuff stays on all day, sweating. You know, I didn't slow down except for the day after the accident. So you know, this stuff I put it back on and dressed my wounds, and you know, this tape held up to working and doing all the stuff I was doing. And you know, that was 2 weeks ago as of yesterday. So you know, I quit using the tape a couple of days ago and the dressings because it's healed up and, you know, good enough now. But you know, we got plenty of stock on the tape for now.
And I would like to say the tape that we were using is over 12 years old at least. So, and it's still just as sticky as it was the day we bought it.
And another weakness was our wound cleansing solutions. Our iodine had leaked out in the first aid container. We only had one bottle of iodine cleaner, betadine, and you know, it had leaked and dried up, so that was a no-go. So I resorted to crude methods of, you know, soapy antibacterial soap, antimicrobial soap, and 50-50 peroxide water mix to initially irrigate the wound, and homemade saltwater saline solution to irrigate it. So now Mrs. Off-Grid found some good wound cleanser. So Lord forbid if anything like that happens again, you know, we'll have a wound cleanser and be better prepared than having to do makeshift stuff in the middle of a trauma event. And another thing we were weak on was the pre-rolled gauze. So we had several rolls of this, but you don't realize how quick you'll go through it, especially if you do, you know, the right method of keeping your wound cleansed and changing your gauze pads and rolls out 2 or 3 times a day. So we tore through this stuff, you know, real quick. So we had to restock on the gauze rolls, the sterile gauze rolls. So we burnt through a good bit of our stock on that. So we restocked, actually double what we had. We have a 12 pack of it. Now we got a 24 pack of brand new 4-inch gauze roll. We got a pack of 2-inch and all that as well. But for the purpose of the video, this is just a good representation of the product. So, you know, we got that stocked up again now too. And another big thing that helped out quite a bit, especially with me continuing to work and do my chores and everything else with a open wound, was this athletic tape. We didn't run out of athletic tape. We had plenty of it, different sizes, shapes, and colors. But while Mrs. Off-Grid was ordering, like I said, it was a Prime Day sale. All this stuff was basically, you know, a third or half off price. So she went ahead and stocked up on some more of this athletic tape. So what I would do, I would dress the wound and put the gauze roll on it and the tape, and then wrap over it with this athletic tape to keep dirt and hay and, you know, everything else out of the wound during the day while I was working to keep it clean. So this is just a little portion of the stuff we stocked up on. Mrs. Off-Grid ended up buying 2 or 3 boxes worth of stuff. So this is just a few items, our weakest points. But she restocked on a bunch of other items too, since there was a good sale and stuff going on. Like I said, she price checked everything from local vendors and stuff, and Amazon was the best price for all this. So I'll link this stuff in the description. We've got some more medical supplies that we stocked up on, but I'll show that in a future video in a different frame of reference. So you know, that about does it for today's video. So just use extreme caution around power tools. Check your medical supplies. Check the stuff is still good. You don't want to rely on your tapes and stuff and then find out they've just turned to junk. It's basically garbage after a few years. And the 3M tape, I mean, we've had it for eons and it's still just like brand new. So just double check all your medical supplies. Learn from my mistakes. and seek proper medical attention. Don't be stubborn like me, but that's just the way I roll.
And we pray, now that we have everything stocked up, that Mr. Off-Grid or myself never get hurt again, so that we don't need to open any of these new packages.
So an ounce prevention's worth a pound cure, as they say. So I guess that about wraps up today's video. Thanks, Mrs. Off-Grid, for filming for me and keeping me in line, keeping me straight on the right path. So thank you for watching the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. Stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe.